Hey there, everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about our first major writing unit of the year. And we are going to be writing personal narratives, and personal narratives are true stories about events that have happened to us. And what we're going to do over the first few days in this unit is brainstorm and think of experiences we've had, places we've gone, people we've had experiences with, to come up with a list of possible topics for our stories. And our goal is to really write on what are called small moments. So if you went to New Hampshire, you wouldn't write a story about just going to New Hampshire. You would think of one event. So perhaps maybe you went to get ice cream, or going to your grandparents' house for Thanksgiving. If you were there for a short period of time, that could work, but you really want to narrow in and think of a small moment, one little event, but the goal is to write a lot about a small moment. So that's going to be the goal. What we're going to do is at the beginning, we're going to make these T-charts. And the first one that we're going to work on is using people and moments. So students are going to make a T-chart, and hopefully they have a notebook or some paper in a binder perhaps that they can use, because for a lot of writing, it's going to be important to hold on to the material, because we can kind of go back and use some of the things from previous units when we get kind of farther down the road. So we're going to make a T-chart that has people on one side and moments on the other. And what we're going to do is we're going to think of people that we know. So I have 4 examples here: my brother John, my dad, my brother, my dad, and some friends, and then Katie, who is my wife. She is also a teacher. And then what you do is you think of an event that happened with these people. So my brother John, when I was much younger, I think I was in 6th grade, we had a water fight. And then my dad, I was fishing with him, and he fell off the dock right into the water. And then my dad and my brother and some friends, when we went on a canoe trip one time. And then Katie, my wife, we were in Canada and we saw a grizzly bear. They are very big. And so the goal is to make a chart and fill it in, I would say, with at least 3 or 4 events. So with people and then the events, what happened. Go over here. You're not writing a sentence. You're not writing very much, just enough information over here so you remember what's going on. And then the final step in this start and this part of the unit is going to be writing what I call a blurb about those events. If you think about the back of a chapter book where it explains the book but doesn't really give it away, that's what a blurb is. So I wrote this about that water balloon fight. And what happened is my brother filled up a tennis ball can with water and he put the lid on it. Then he kind of surprised me and threw it at me. And the lid hit me pretty much right up here on my forehead. And if you've ever had a head injury, they bleed a lot. So within a couple seconds, blood was dripping down my face. And it was more superficial, which means it wasn't actually a bad injury, but it looked worse. And my brother kind of freaked out. He's 4 years younger than me. And then the other blurb I wrote about was when I was fishing with my dad and he was changing the bait and he cast his rod, his line out again. And he kind of went to the side to lean against a piling that is the part that kind of like sticks up and holds a dock or a pier. But he kind of missed the piling and he tumbled right into the water. And my brother and I still talk about that, even though that was 30 years or more ago. And you want to think of, if you go back to our chart, each of these events, you're going to write a few sentences, a blurb to explain it. And then eventually we're going to look at all the blurbs we've created over several days. And we're going to pick one that is going to be the one we feel we can really do a good job and write a good personal narrative about. So that's kind of an overview of what we're going to be doing to start the unit. And I'm going to be explaining that to students, and hopefully the students will understand and be able to work on this. But this video can be a reference if they don't quite know, that can be used to help out with the writing process.